Hello, welcome back to another photo critique here in the Boudoir Guild. I'm Mike Lloyd. I've been in the game 11 years doing this professionally. I'm a certified PPA judge and I've judged countless print competitions, photo competitions all over the country, online and in person. So that's how I go into all of these. I want to look at impact first. I want to look at technical ability and I want to look at composition, and we break things down from there. So let's dive in with our first photo here. So I love silhouettes, especially in boudoir, because that's what we're doing. We're creating lines and shapes. We're showing the form of the body. And I think a silhouette is a fantastic way to do it. I also love the hair hanging down here. Very feminine, and it breaks up all this negative space that would be overwhelmingly bright if that hair wasn't there. So well done. One downside to backlighting or side lighting is here on the skin, you can see all the texture. I'd process that in imagenomic portraiture, smooth the skin, whatever you need to do. You can also just grab like a clarity brush in Lightroom or the texture slider and drop that down a little bit as well, just to smooth that out a little bit. You can also clean up with surface blur down here to smooth out that. Although, you know, I'm just looking for things here. The crop on this side, I'm not totally stoked with. I would rather see a little bit more space because of the line we're cropped through on the forehead over here. It feels a little imbalanced. But if we could crop out another bit about where my mouse is tracking here, I'd really want to see something like that. Yeah, I'd want to crop out if I'm going to do anything with this image. Overall, totally solid. I love the mood. I love the feel. I'm sure this client went crazy when she saw this photo. Just a little bit of balancing issues and some skin smoothing, and this would be magic. All right, let's go to the next one. So again, first thing that I do is I unfocus my eyes. I did this in my last critique, but let me show you again here. So just so you can sort of see what I'm seeing. I will defocus my eyes and like look through an image like to the wall behind it so that I'm seeing essentially what you're seeing here on the screen. I don't want to see context. I just want to see the bright spots, the dark spots, and the lines that go throughout the image, because the brightest things are the most prominent and the most noticeable and generally the most important content-wise. So the brightest things here are the face and like the lines of the body, which is a good triangle here. The red in the foreground is kind of distracting. It's pretty prominent. The image also feels tilted. You know, she's not upright. She's not at a 45. She's not at a 90. She's at this weird like 22.5-degree line, which is half of 45. I didn't just make up that number. And it's like when someone's taking a picture of the horizon and tilts the camera a little bit, it feels off. Like you should lean to see the photo. Like if I tilt my head, the image feels a lot more balanced to me. Right now, it feels like she's falling over. I like the crop to the elbow. That's a great spot to do it. Although the fingers are cut off up here. I know they're in the hair, but that crop is happening through the knuckles. I'd want to see some more space up there. Also, dark hair against a dark background, we're totally losing her there. Having a rim light on this side will totally separate her from the background and really make that pop that much more. And I know this image is pretty low res. We'll get some bigger ones for the next go around, but the skin looks way too processed. And same thing with the lip color. I can't tell if the red was boosted in post-production. It might be because these are pretty vibrant here. It looks too much. Like there was too much processing done in the image. It looks kind of grungy around the mouth and then way over smoothed on the skin. Same thing with like with the eyelashes. I think that could just be the mascara. And then, you know, we're losing detail here in the hair. I think it had a ton of great potential. Just tilting the thing, dial back the saturation, and give a little more detail in the highlights, and this will be an entirely different image. Also dialing back the skin softening so that there is still detail in the skin and it doesn't look like glassy or plasticky. Next photo. Oh, I'm digging this. Love this. All right, so first thing, when I do my look through the image, this is what I'm seeing. The lines right here. Great triangle, great composition. I love that she's looking out the window, because this is telling a story. You're like, well, what is she checking out? What's out there? What is she looking at that's getting her to respond this emotionally? I like the rim light back here on the hair. I think that's great. I don't even mind that we're clipping, that we're fading down into the shadows here. I like a little bit of that mystery. How some of the hair is over the shoulder here and over the back is great, because then it leaves the neck exposed. It doesn't look over processed. Again, I'm gonna wanna get some bigger images for next time. Yeah, this is fantastic. I don't know what I would change here. Yeah, I wouldn't touch this. This is fantastic. So first thing I do when I look through, look for the leading lines in the image. And to me, I see an Easter egg, or like an egg or a cocoon, something like that. Not really seeing like feminine form or shape, which I get the point of the image is to have the tool everywhere. But the brightest points in the image are right here and right here. So just the line, especially this hard vertical line right in the front, not flattering. And we're cropped through the ankle, like the foot's missing. I'd want to see at least the foot down there, bringing the knee up higher, this knee out a little bit more, because right now the leg is coming almost straight at the camera and we get some pretty gnarly foreshortening. Foreshortening is my arm is out to the side. It looks arm length. When I bring my arm straight toward the camera, it looks shorter because you can't see the full length of the arm, and the way optics view things, that's called foreshortening. So generally we don't want things aiming straight at the camera like that, because it makes them look that long compared to the second half of the leg, which looks that long, right? The proportions aren't correct. So bringing that knee out more will add more length and keep the segments of the leg more even. Also, this halo that's happening around here is usually a sign of over editing. I love her expression. I like the pose from here. There are a lot of great things about this image. I think the tool in this case takes away from the image instead of adding to it. It could almost be like a veil going back behind her, but there's so much soft gorgeousness happening here. I wouldn't cover it up. And looking a little bit closer, it looks like clone tracks here. Like you can tell that more fabric was added in. Again, I think less is more in this photo. A lot of potential, less is more. Okay, love this one also. I recently added a shower set to my studio, so I'm digging that and the looks you can get from there. Yeah, the water drops, super clear. I can't quite tell where the focus is, if it's on the water drops or on her. Again, I need larger res images. I should have specified that when I asked for these. I like the separation back here. That was a good use of the background light. And on the shoulder, couple things. When I defocus, I see a hard line right here. I'd want a little bit more of an angle on that arm so we don't just have a hard vertical line there. But I love the line of the face. Her nose doesn't cross the plane of the cheek, so that is done really well. She's turned at a very good angle, very flattering there. And you have separation here. Love the expression. One of the things that I found shooting these shower scenes is we had to put a ton of water on the client in order to make it look believable. Right? Because if they're in the shower and you have the water drops on the glass, but they're like mostly dry, it feels off. You know, it's like pictures with somebody's out in the snow. Obviously the snow has been photoshopped in because there's no snow on them. It's just snow everywhere and around them, but they don't have any snow on them. Same sort of thing. And I can tell her hair is wet here a little bit, but I love the expression. I think it's composed well. I just want to move one of the arms. Cool, let's keep rolling. I like this. So creative framing here, like literally with the mirror. However, it's cropped weird around the mirror. I don't know if this was a space issue or you're trying to keep certain things from showing up in the frame, but it's like we've got a gap up here and down here, but the frame is cut off on this side, and we've got the whole width of the frame here, but only a little tiny bit on this side, and no frame down on the bottom. I'd want to see an even amount of frame all the way around it for this to feel balanced and like it was really done with intention. I like the pose. We've got good diagonal lines here. Good job keeping this leg bent as well instead of straight down. Most people, when they're first doing poses like this, will have the foot go straight down at this 90-degree angle, and it's just not flattering. Toes are pointed, wrist is bent, soft hands, all that's groovy. I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit here. I would definitely go through and smooth out the lumps from the fabric in the back because that makes it look like she's got a big lump in her body. She's probably not gonna like that. You can also clean up that. And then this is just from the lines in the mirror. You've got these little artifacts here. That's not the right word for them, but they look like artifacts. Those are all a bit distracting as well. But I love the pose. The light on her face is great. I like the expression. This is another case where you see a lot of white in the eye right here too. So when I would have her turn and look back that way, I'd have her bring her eyes back a little bit so that we're not seeing so much of the white and no color in the eyes. So that's a time when I would have somebody's face looking one way, but their eyes brought back a little bit, because it's not normally how somebody would like turn their face and then look back over here. But in the camera, it makes it look normal. So, and just when you're working with the wardrobe, you've got these wrinkles here. Have her pull those down or have your assistant do it. Great concept, super creative. I think you did well with it. Just the composition issues right there, and then the wardrobe. Keep rolling. First thing I do when I zone out, see the lines coming through here. We've got, good lines coming through here. Love the tattoo. I love the way the red pops in her outfit. The floor, the hair is fanned out. It's not over edited. It's not too sharp. Good job minimizing the highlights on the skin right here. Good expression. The one thing that jumps out at me is where her legs are cropped. This is also probably shot on like a 35mm lens. It's not terribly wide angle, but it's still pretty wide angle. I don't think it's a 50 because her legs look so much smaller. Like there's a lot of perspective happening here in the image in a very short distance. So I can tell it was a wider angle lens. And she's pretty thin anyway, but the width of her hips proportionally is like half the width of her shoulders here. I don't know if that's anatomically correct. And that's how I can tell there's a lot of perspective happening here. But this would be a great time. And really, it's mostly noticeable because the legs are running parallel and you have these 3 lines right here with the crops through that awkward point in the leg. So what I'd want to do is either cross her legs over at the knees or kick them apart, just not have them run parallel. I'd want them to either cross or separate, some kind of lines, just not parallel. Overall, solid image though. And if we throw our grid on it, it's weighted very well. You know, faces through this third, hips and the bend of the elbows over here. Solid photo. I'm sure she loved this one too. All right, and last one. Cool, super creative here. I love the different take, different perspective. You're shooting from down low. That's super cool. It's very clear what the subject of the image is. It's the feet. Couple things that jump out at me. The crop. Again, it's not balanced. All of the weight in the image is up here, which wouldn't necessarily be wrong, but the lines take you this way. And normally, if the weight of the image is all up here, I want the lines to take me down through the rest of the image because we have all this dead space out here with no real flow throughout the image. Because yes, we've got the heels pointing this way. This is pointing down. This is pointing down. Everything leads you quickly out of the image and nothing guides you around. Even if we just bring this back. Again, I'd want to see something else happening down here that leads us back into the frame. But even just cropping this feels so much more balanced now than having all of this dead space and all of the action happening over here. Overall, super cool concept. I love that it's a lower angle because if you shot up higher, you wouldn't see the feet the same. Toes are still pointed and their heels, they're going to be pointed. Super creative shot. Just pay more attention to where the leading lines are. And again, the easiest way to do that, look through an image and blur it so that you can see, right? Everything is happening here and the lines just lead you right out of the top of the frame. All right. So if you want to get your photos featured in one of these critiques and learn how to improve your photography, send me an email, mike@boudoirguild.com. And if you want to learn more about composition, lighting, posing, all that good stuff, boudoirguild.com. You can join over there. I've got a ton of resources for you. Let's help you get better at photography and make some money with a career that you love. I will see you inside.